What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the top 10 loadouts in TF2. Try saying that 6 times when you're drunk. And today we're going to be looking at the Spy. The first weapon in today's loadout is going to be the stock knife. Strong and reliable, it's always a great choice when you're playing Spy. Our pistol is going to be the Diamondback, which following its most recent buff has become one of the most powerful weapons in the game. Next up, the Deadringer is going to give this class some great survivability. But we're also going to be taking a look at the Invisi-Watch, as both of these weapons are fantastic to use with your Spy loadout. And finally, we're going to make those engineers wish they never got out of bed this morning with the stock Sapper. So first up, let's take a look at the Diamondback, one of the most powerful weapons around. The Diamondback comes with a 15% damage penalty and no random critical hits. But for every backstab and building you sap, you'll earn a guaranteed crit on this weapon. And if there's something the Spy knows how to do, it's backstab people and sap sentries. By simply running around, sapping teleports and occasionally going for backstabs, you'll build up a very nice stock of guaranteed critical hits. With the Diamondback, you can output more damage than a fully loaded Demo Man, and take down a full health heavy along with a few of his friends in a matter of seconds. Whatever pistol you decide to use as Spy, I would really encourage you not to underestimate the power of a Spy's primary weapon. Most of these pistols can put out surprisingly high amounts of damage. They're extremely useful for taking down chasing enemies, picking off engineers, or just generally harassing people from a distance. And too many Spies seem to think that backstabs are the only way you can earn kills. One final thing you can try with the Diamondback is to get a friend on the opposite team to drink a bonk and allow you to backstab him. Each non-lethal backstab will actually give you an additional stored crit, which you can then run around with and wreak havoc on the enemy team. The stock knife is a great, reliable weapon that I always seem to come back to. While other knives may have their own niche roles, this weapon is always a strong choice. I'm not going to talk too much about the knife as it's a pretty well understood weapon. One point I do want to mention, however, is that if you're a bit new to the Spy class, don't hesitate to consider the Spy skill as a great alternative. When you're starting out, getting lit on fire will almost always mean certain death, and the Spy skill will really help make Spy a bit more of a forgiving class to play. That said, once you've practiced a bit, changing to the stock knife can be fantastic, as it opens up a whole new world of adrenaline-charged trick stabs on pursuing pyros, and it'll also help avoid some of the frustrating missed backstabs if you get hit by a few stray fire particles. So now, let's talk watches. As you saw in the intro, today we're going to look at both the Deadringer and the Invisi-Watch. Both are great watches with unique roles and purposes. It's impossible to say that one is better than the other, so let's talk about the advantages and the costs of each. The Deadringer is the classic pub stomper, and turns the Spy, an otherwise squishy class, into one of the most slippery, elusive, and hardest to kill mercs in the game. The Deadringer is a personal favourite of mine, as it allows you to play a hyper-aggressive playstyle, jumping into the middle of the entire team, getting a few kills, and escaping without a problem. Knowing the location of metal is crucial when using this watch, and ensuring you don't ignore other metal sources like stray weapons lying around and blown up engineer buildings is really, really important. Now, let's take a look at a clip made by a friend of mine, Devat. He is an absolutely insane Spy, and this clip really shows just how crazy the Deadringer can be. By positioning yourself well, sapping buildings, and always uncloaking on top of a metal source, you can often achieve an almost infinite Deadringer charge. Remember, each part of a destroyed building counts as its own ammo pack, so a single broken sentry or dispenser can recharge your entire Deadringer. While a lot of people often dismiss the Deadringer as a no-skill weapon, positioning yourself intelligently and always uncloaking in the right places is really important. Now, let's take a look at the Invisi-Watch. While it demands a far less aggressive playstyle than the Deadringer, there is no doubt that it is a watch of equal power. Unlike a Deadringer Spy that goes for mass chain stabs on the cart, with the Invisi-Watch you'll want to stick to the edges of the battlefield, picking off lone targets and being a general annoyance to the enemy team. Staying away from large groups of enemies is ideal, because if you're caught backstabbing their friends, you don't have a reliable escape mechanism like the Deadringer. One tip I would give for the Invisi-Watch is to constantly change direction after cloaking. If you go invisible but continue to move in the same direction, the enemy is going to have a pretty good idea of where you are, and likely kill you. Changing direction immediately after you become fully invisible is essential when escaping pursuing enemies. You can take this a little bit further and actually turn it against the enemy with this cool trick. When being chased, try cloaking as you move around a corner, and then immediately double back. A lot of the time, the enemy will keep chasing you in the direction you cloaked, allowing you to earn an easy backstab. I'm not going to talk about the Sapper because I think it is a pretty well understood weapon. Instead, I want to throw out one last tip for improving at Spy. Don't make learning trick stabs your focus. The best way to improve at Spy is map knowledge. Learning where the health and ammo packs are, and most importantly, all the great routes and map tricks is fantastic for both flanking behind the enemy and evading chasing pursuers. There are two last things I want to mention. Firstly, the Christmas giveaway for the $50 Steam cards. I messaged 6 people on YouTube telling them that they won, and not a single one of you replied. Because of that, I'm going to be running the giveaway on my Twitter instead, where people are guaranteed to reply. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't want to run it outside of YouTube and make people go to the effort, but I really don't have a choice. There are going to be no strings attached. You don't have to follow my Twitter or anything. I can't run it on YouTube because no one's replying. If you want a link to my Twitter, it's in the video description. Lastly, I want to give a massive shout out to Freddy TF2. These awesome intros you see in the top 10 videos are actually inspired by something I saw in one of his videos. He's a great TF2 YouTuber, and if you want to check him out, I'll throw a link to his channel below in the description. I'm sorry for all this off-topic stuff, guys, but as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have a better loadout for Spy, make sure you put that down in the comment section down below for me to read. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!